Good evening. My name is Mark Jari, and I would like to lower the volume to start with. So I'm going to go ahead and press this button here. Hopefully that will help. Okay, thank you. My name is Mark Jari, and I hold an advanced degree in Vedic knowledge, Veda, V-E-D-A, Vedic knowledge. I've been studying Vedic knowledge for 45 years. I've been a meditator and a yogi for 45 years. And I have certain realizations that I'd like to share with you today. The reason why I want to go to video and start a subscription series is to make people aware of a level of happiness that exists, that we can all tap into and be part of, that is basically hidden from us, and very few people are aware of, especially in the current age we're living in, called the age of Kali Yuga, K-A-L-I, Kali Yuga, time period on Earth where people live for a short period of time. The attention span is very short. We are basically a pretty troubled race of people, and things are getting progressively worse, although we would like to believe otherwise. But without becoming or trying to make this discussion or this video some type of a philosophical soliloquy, I wanted to really make it something that is understandable and applicable to you. So what I'm going to say to you, I think anyone can understand, and I think there's some value here that you will probably be able to glean from what I'm saying. The first thing is that all of us are looking for happiness. Now, I'm not going to develop that reason why on this video. I will in other videos if you subscribe. But there is a non-stop desire on our part, every single one of us, for happiness. And we are always seeking pleasure. That will never stop. Some people can try to thwart it. They can dull it through the use of drugs or alcohol, or try to enhance it. But none of that will do anything to stop the steady march every single day and every single moment that we all have for pleasure. And if we don't get pleasure, we become frustrated. Unfortunately, the quality of the pleasure that we experience is not truly compatible with who we really are. Therefore, the experience leaves us unhappy. And this happiness, seeking happiness, and then going through the experience of being unfulfilled by it, repeats itself every single day, over and over, sometimes on a smaller scale, sometimes on a medium scale, sometimes on a larger scale, a longer-term scale. And it never fails, or I should say it never fails to fail. It always fails. We are never left with a satisfying experience. So why do I say that? I'm not a fatalist. I'm actually a very happy individual. I say that because I, number one, want to identify a universal problem. You can go ask this to anyone you know, or you can just simply observe it on your own. But you will see that happiness, it doesn't exist. The desire for happiness exists, but the state of happiness and the pleasure we experience from something does not exist. You know, you've heard the expression that the grass is greener on the other side. That's all we really have to give us hope. Oh, he's happy. I just need to do what he's doing. You know, he's got all the money. He's got all the girls. He's got all the guys. She's got all the guys. You know, the house, the bank balance, the job. It's always the other guy. But if you take the time to talk to or observe those who have all the women, all the men, the bank balance, and all the things that we are all after, or the power, none of that makes that individual happy. None of it. So the theory that the grass is greener on the other side is demolished. It is not greener. Now, if you want to focus on yourself, you may say, well, I didn't have a good experience today, maybe tomorrow, or in the future. So we live with hope. Right now we are working hard to put money away for the future. I'm not happy now, but maybe I will be in the future. Oh, I'm never going to be happy, but maybe my child will be happy. I'm doomed to failure or unhappiness, but I will send forth my child to medical school. They will prosper, they will be well, and therefore I will feel that by that sacrifice, I have done well. But then your child's a doctor, and they're not happy either. So what I'm pointing out to you is there is no grass green on the other side, and there is no personal happiness that we can experience on the material plane of existence. So let's get back to the first point I made. Everyone is seeking happiness. They cannot be stopped. Cannot be stopped. You can try to dull it, you can try to slow it down, you can try to speed it up, but the desire for happiness exists at every moment. Nobody wants to eat bad food, nobody wants to be unhappy, nobody wants to do anything which causes them distress. We are all looking for an enjoyable experience. Excuse me. Then there is, then there is the issue of where this happiness is going to come from. So I am here to tell you that based on Vedic wisdom, which is older than any other literature on earth, we have a secret, open secret of information that does guide us to an inner state of happiness that is real, that exists, that we have been cut off from, that over the many, many lifetimes on this planet, over a period of time, we have lost our way to our inner self and to that entity which we call God. We have lost ourselves. So we are basically an external experience. Whatever slice of time we have on this world, it is external. It is never internal. We cannot sit back and enjoy ourselves. We need a TV. We need some kind of an experience or a memory of an external experience. But we never truly have an internal experience that is lasting, that causes us and all of our senses and our mind and everything to feel pleasure. And oddly enough, it is that internal experience that we are capable of, each of us is capable of having, that we are missing. And that is the missing link to a complete, full life. So let me describe a little bit about this experience to you and whet your appetite that you may want to go on to this journey of discovery to find that part of you, to link that inner part of you to the greater whole, where there is something going on, where there are experiences going on that you can be part of. Number one, why is it important? And I know I probably sound like a kook to you, but you've heard of yoga, you've heard of meditation, you've heard of all these things. Well, that is how you start to awaken your inner self. It could be religion. If religion helps someone to awaken that inner channel and connection to God, that's perfect. Provided there is a proper or complete understanding of that goal, the God. If I say God is a tree, that may not be true. Yes, God is a tree, but He's more than a tree. But if I just focus on the tree, I'm going to miss out on the real experience. I can't stare at a tree and think I'm going to experience God. It doesn't happen. Never will happen. I might think it will happen, but it won't happen. So we do have to have a proper understanding of what is God. philosophical, intellectual understanding of what is God and what we are capable of achieving, then with some faith and with some commitment, we can achieve that. So, one of the things one of the reasons why, and the main reason I think why we want to pursue this, is because as soon as we pursue this through a practice, because at first it becomes a practice, we have to reacquaint ourselves with something we've deeply forgotten. So it's called a practice. But once the practice becomes consistent, we will begin to feel a relief from all of the baloney, the garbage, the illusion that we have been accustomed to believing. But we see every day and we hear every day. All of these impressions and these ideas that we've gained in life, these conceptions, will fall away. And an inner awareness, which is the awakening of our own soul and the soul's energy and the soul's ability to see, will happen for us. And when that takes place, life will have meaning. Not just this life, the next life. So I'm not a quack. I'm not trying to present ideas to you that make me sound like a quack. I'm not into airy-fairy stuff. I don't believe in UFOs or channeling or any of the New Age conceptions. I am here to tell you that there is a method to awaken our spiritual awareness, and it is necessary to do that if we wish to connect to the Absolute and experience happiness. So I'm making this point that material happiness is incomplete, and that if we awaken our spiritual self, our inner self, we can connect with the inner world through our spiritual body, our spiritual consciousness, and experience joy. And like I said earlier, the desire for joy within each one of us cannot be shut off. Everyone is looking for joy. And that cannot be shut off. So if we wish to reciprocate with the actual source of joy, then we should learn this process, which is a practice. And we will see for ourselves directly that our consciousness becomes raised, we become happy, we become joyful in all situations. We lose this edge, this edginess that's always bothering us in the material world. We become joyful people. And then something special happens. We begin to see and recognize our place in the next dimension. Now, if another dimension exists, and it does, why shouldn't we, if we're capable of realizing it, why shouldn't we try? And why do I say that? Because everything that everyone is doing on this plane of existence is failing. And I don't have to tell you that. I don't have to convince you. I'm telling you what you already know. There is a higher dimension that we can be privy to. It doesn't make a difference if you don't think you can meditate. It doesn't make a difference if you have an arm missing, if you have a lot of money or a little money, if you're old or young. It makes no difference. What you need to know is that you are a spirit soul. You're a part of the spiritual dimension. And your purpose in life is to waken up your spiritual consciousness. This is your actual purpose. And as long as you don't do that, and you stay involved solely in material life, you will be disappointed. Lifetime after lifetime. And even if you don't believe in many lifetimes, this lifetime, you will not succeed. I don't care how much fame you have. I don't care whatever you're born with or whatever you possess or whatever you gain. It does not make a difference. Unless and until you couple couple. When I mean by coupling, I mean in addition to your normal life, you start to practice this specific spiritual path, which encompasses all spiritual paths. I want to teach you something. Now, if you say, I'm already practicing something spiritual, I don't need it. If you're happy and you really feel that you've attained all that you can, turn off this video or walk away. If you're open-minded, if you are a spiritual seeker, and you haven't landed yet within yourself, which I know you haven't, if you haven't gone somewhere and experienced something, then continue listening. This is a video for those who are experienced and those who are inexperienced in spiritual practice. And this is a very important thing, and I gain nothing by sharing this with you other than the happiness to know that you can duplicate what I am achieving. So, there is a simple practice that you can put into place along with your normal life. You can go on being a mother, being a worker, going to work, whatever it is you're seeking in life. You cannot stop. We are driven. So we cannot stop. We can change, but we cannot stop. So whatever your karma is and your destiny that you're pursuing is fine. Add this to your life, what I'm about to teach you. Add this to your life. And by doing that, not only will you begin to balance your life and bring real meaning to it because you're awakening your inner channel, but you will bring new meaning to it, which will eventually overshadow what you're doing now and bring you into the dimension that you are capable of experiencing, which very few people do. It's not that you can't, but like I'm speaking to you, it is available to anyone. But when you consider that very few people are doing it, it may scare you. You may think, oh my God, no one else is doing it and I'm doing it. Where does that leave me? But then I want you to consider everyone is doing the wrong thing, and look where it's getting them. You can observe them with your own eyes and see that people are miserable. So you need to consider being the different one. Because once you do this, you will realize that you're normal. And then you are developing normalcy in your consciousness, normalcy in how you feel. Your emotions are going to become more normal. You're going to get rid of a lot of your attachments and a lot of your obsessions and a lot of your addictions. And you're going to feel very, very happy within yourself. And you're going to realize that you now know what it takes to be happy. And you can press that button as often as you want. And you don't need anything material, or very little. I don't want to sound like an extremist. You have to eat, you have to sleep, you have to provide, you have to pay your bills, but you'll see things differently. Those are the small things. You'll start to see that your real life is spiritual, and that you will receive also bounty and plentifulness by your endeavors in this area. You will have reciprocation. And you'll be spared so much suffering, and at the same time you'll be spared tremendous suffering as you begin to ensure yourself, or as you begin to raise your level of bliss. So I want to save this information on the meditation process and other aspects and other reasons why you'd want to do this for the next video. I ask that if you are interested, you subscribe. You can contact me as well. We can discuss this one-on-one. And I want to introduce you to a method that will bring you happiness beyond your wildest imagination. So be open-minded. Realize that there is a cure for the world's ills, that there is a way of getting out of here, and we don't have to continue to repeat our mistakes. and that we can be happy. Really, really happy. Thank you for listening. Om Shanti Shanti Om Shanti Shanti.